Good evening, friends near and far. This is Santa Claus on December 5, 2025, bringing you the day's news with a warm heart on this chilly winter evening. Today marks the anniversary of London's tragic Great Smog of 1952, a reminder of how our actions can affect the vulnerable among us and how we must care for our shared home. Let me share with you the happenings around our world today. President Trump has unveiled a strategy to prevent conflict with China over Taiwan by building up military strength in the region. Oh my, how I wish we could spread peace through understanding rather than through might. Still, I pray that cooler heads will prevail and that the good people of Taiwan remain safe. And speaking of international relations, my heart is troubled by news that the Trump administration has described Europe as facing civilizational erasure in an official document. Such divisive words. Remember, dear friends, that we are all God's children, regardless of where we come from. Unity and acceptance bring far more joy than fear and separation. Turning our gaze to France, there are reports of drones flying over a nuclear submarine base. The authorities are investigating, though we don't yet know who might be behind this concerning activity. I'm reminded that in these uncertain times, we must remain vigilant yet not surrender to suspicion of our neighbors. Meanwhile, Russian President Putin visited India today, receiving quite the warm welcome from Prime Minister Modi. Even when nations face diplomatic challenges, the effort to maintain dialogue is a gift we should cherish. May their conversations lead to greater understanding and peace. On a more troubling note, Ecuador is struggling with rising crime and violence linked to cocaine trafficking. It seems that while the United States focused on the fentanyl crisis affecting so many families, cocaine traffickers gained strength in Latin America. My heart aches for the children of Ecuador, now growing up amid such danger. We must remember that our choices and priorities can have profound effects on vulnerable communities far from our home. Brave sailors in the Navy have been facing intense stress during operations against Yemen's Houthi rebels. A series of mishaps, including a tragic friendly fire incident, remind us of the tremendous pressure these young men and women endure while serving. Let us hold them in our thoughts and prayers, wishing them safety and peace of mind. In health news, a federal vaccine committee has voted to end the recommendation that all newborns be immunized at birth against hepatitis B if mothers test negative for the virus. This represents a significant change in policy under Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. Whatever your views on this matter, I hope all parents and medical providers will work together with love and care to protect our precious little ones. Across the world in Tibet, China continues to expand its military presence, building airports and facilities at breathtaking altitudes where workers struggle with the thin air. The determination required to build in such challenging conditions is remarkable, though I pray these installations ultimately serve peaceful purposes. In Ukraine, a New York Times investigation has found that President Zelensky's government has undermined oversight mechanisms meant to prevent corruption, even as billions in aid flowed into the country during wartime. Oh my, how important it is that leaders remain transparent and honest, especially when serving people in such desperate circumstances. Germany is having quite the debate about military service, with some young people like 16-year-old Carlotta preferring voluntary service over conscription. The choices nations make about how to defend themselves reflect deep values about freedom and obligation. May wisdom guide these decisions. And finally, in Syria, former loyalists to Bashar al-Assad who fled to Russia after his fall from power are now funding potential fighters, hoping to reclaim influence. The cycle of conflict continues, but I believe that someday peace will take root in that beautiful land. As we reflect on these stories tonight, let us remember that behind each headline are real people with hopes, fears, and dreams much like our own. Whether in Taiwan or Ecuador, Ukraine or Syria, we share this magnificent world together. Let us treat one another with kindness, seek understanding over division, and hold fast to hope even in challenging times. Until tomorrow, this is Santa Claus wishing you a peaceful evening filled with goodwill toward all.